Hey guys, Ryan here. Today I want to talk about my new book, 10 Steps to Success. So, a lot of you guys have heard about this book. It's blowing up pretty big time. It's now available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and all kinds of other social media sites for selling books. And I'm really excited about it. I want to get into where the concept came from and what it's all about. We're not going to get really into the specifics right here. Right now I'm just, as you can see, I'm just out for a midnight jog. It's actually about 4 in the morning. And I've been sprinting, I've been doing intermittent fasting, I've been doing, it's called HIIT, high intensity interval training, and it's more stuff that I actually talk about in the book. And a lot of people, I think they hear 10 steps to success and they think it's some kind of bullet points of, I don't know what they think. I'm just gonna assume from some of my personal friends that I've given the book to and had them read through it, and I ask, what's your immediate thought or perception? Some people have even told me that they thought the book was a meme, or they thought that it was a satire, because with my history of soap shoes, and they thought that this was some kind of they thought it was a joke, and until people read it and they realized that I'm a fucking genius. I'm not trying to brag, but it's well, you read the book and you be the judge. But let's get into basically how this book came to be and what this book is, which is basically, it's a collective of all of the knowledge, all of the self-help and self-improvement knowledge that I've acquired over the past 10 years. So let me take you back to the year 2006. I went through a very violent divorce, and I ended up becoming banned from 4 countries: England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. I am subject to arrest upon re-entry of the United Kingdom. If I got off a plane and I scanned my passport, I would go directly to Durham prison on some gangster shit. That's not a joke. That's verifiable. So, the specifics of that event are irrelevant to this book. What did happen that is of major importance is that when I arrived in Las Vegas, broke, with nothing but $50 in my pocket and the clothes on my back, after Delta, acronym Don't Expect Luggage to Arrive, lost all of my luggage, I basically had nothing. I had to become the man that I am today through trial and error. I had no previous backing of how to succeed in life. So, being a single bachelor, starting in Las Vegas with no car, no job, no women, no future. Well, I worked a couple little odd jobs here and there just to get by. I eventually used my degree that I got from Musicians Institute in the Recording Institute of Technology and got a job at the Hard Rock Hotel doing staging and theatrical work, audio engineering, lighting, video, production, floral, scenic, loading trucks, making, helping bands out with whatever they needed in production, catering, that kind of thing, for $19 an hour. So that at least helped me get on my feet and get my first apartment. But I was alone, I was suicidal, I was emotionally distraught after the loss of access to both of my children who were in England with my ex-wife. And all I wanted to do was rebuild my life, get a fucking girlfriend, and start a new family. And, you know, just get my life back. That's all I wanted. But when I would go out at night to the clubs to try to meet girls, I didn't have the fame that I once had when I was a professional soaper, when I was touring the country and had soap groupies throwing themselves at me while I was going from hotel to hotel, sliding on the biggest and the baddest rails on the planet, and being on TV, you know, like I was when I was 17, making $200 an hour and being a fucking superstar. Okay, I didn't have that type of status anymore. So when I went to the club, I was a nobody. I had a shitty little apartment in the ghetto, in the fucking barrios of West Las Vegas, on Sahara and Decatur. And, you know, I didn't have any money. I was dressing in, you know, rags Walmart clothes. I didn't have any game. I didn't know how to talk to girls. I didn't know how to connect with them. And I was miserable. I even did a half-assed suicide attempt that I rap about in a song called Hard Times, and another one called Leap of Faith, where I half-assed slit my wrists. I got in trouble with it at work. It's later documented in Las Vegas' 7 magazine, where basically my boss at the Hard Rock, you know, after he saw the scars, the open wounds on my wrists, requested that I wear gloves while I was at work. It was kind of embarrassing. And, you know, it was just, that's where I was. That's what I was going through. Just going through hard times. Emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. And life sucked. And at the end of the day, I was alone, living off of fucking West Sahara in Decatur, in a little complex full of fucking gangbangers and crackheads and prostitutes. And there were stabbings on my front porch. There was a shooting outside. You know, this place had no power, no hot water, and they had some problems with the power lines when I moved in. It was crawling with fucking cockroaches. Okay, I was miserable, stuck in the fucking ghetto, just doing what I could do to survive, working and selling fucking dope. And I wanted more than that. And you know, at the end of the day, it was like come home to an empty house with no hot water, no power, just to do what? Jerk off to internet porn? It's not the fucking life I aspired for. Anyway, I don't know how it happened or where the transition came from, but one day I came to this awareness that I was just walking around in a Barnes & Noble bookstore in the self-help section. I was trying to look for relationship advice on how to get girls. And so I started buying these self-help books, like how to win friends and influence people, and how to become a people magnet. And I started buying books on body language. I read one by Barbara and Alan Pease called The Definitive Book of Body Language, which ended up changing the entire course of my life and my destiny in just a few months' time from around this time frame. And another one was called Why Men Don't Listen and Why Women Can't Read Maps. And another one I think I bought was called The Female Brain. It's an interesting book with it's like a phone cord shaped into you know, the shape of a brain, and it explaining the differences between the way men and women are wired, and why well, I won't get into the specifics of everything, but these were life-changing things that I learned in these books. And I went out and I began using the knowledge and applying the techniques. I ended up going to a house party and ran into a beautiful, lovely 18-year-old blonde named Katie. And I immediately began using the techniques that I learned in this body language book. And in this book, the definitive book of body language, they describe that the way humans communicate, the words are only 7% of our communication. The vocal tonality, the way in which I speak those words, is 38% of communication. But more importantly is the body language. And that's 55% of communication. And ergo, if you stop necessarily paying attention to the words that people are saying, and you more so focus on the sub-communication and the context behind those words, you'll get to see a bigger picture of what an individual is trying to communicate. In this book, it also discusses that people, when using body language, speak in what are known as clusters. So, for example, if someone was, maybe you're a parent and your child is telling you, oh no, I was home last night, or I wasn't drinking beer with my friends, but you notice maybe that their feet, for example, one is behind, one of their hands is behind, and their head is kind of cocked. Therefore, these three gestures become a body cluster. So even if you look me in the eye and say that you weren't out last night drinking, your body language tells me otherwise. The body language says it all. It says that you are lying to my face. Now, that's one example of how to use body language. What changed my life is learning that where a person's foot points is where they want to go. Now let's examine this pole right here. Let's imagine that that's a hot girl. Now I could be talking to you, but if you notice that my foot was facing that way, even though I'm talking to you, the feet point where the mind wants to go, period. Now I took what I read on a leap of faith, and I wanted to find out if this was true. Now, I never would have approached this hot, blonde Katie, because I would have thought at the time that she was out of my league, that I didn't make enough money, that I didn't drive a good enough car. I was driving, my grandma had just passed away, and I was driving her, it was a 1998 Camry, or a 95 green Toyota Camry. I had a good system in it. I had 12-inch woofers, and I had Sony Explode 12-inch woofers and some Infinity 6x9s, and I had tweeters. Had a great system. But this was a Camry. This wasn't a Benz on 20-inch rims. This wasn't like a convertible BMW. This wasn't a Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. This wasn't a pimped out all black Escalade on 25s with spinning rims and all tinted windows at 120 tint. I wasn't driving the type of car that I thought hot girls would want. I didn't have a nice apartment. So I would have never stepped to this girl. But because of that book, because of that fucking book, I looked down at Katie's feet, and even though she was pointing to my other friend, Erica, I was with my friend Erica and Dave. Some people, they've been on my YouTube before. Katie was talking to Erica, but her foot was facing towards me. So I went on a leap of faith and said, she's into me, and I'm just gonna go for it. So I stepped to her like a dominant fucking alpha male, like I had read in the book, alpha male behavior, behavior and body language exuded by silverback gorillas who lead tribes. And I read a bunch of other stuff on genetics and biology, and all the knowledge that I amassed at that time I used in my speech patterns, and I communicated that that I was in terms of the animal kingdom, that I was a fit mate for this girl. And I asked her out, and I said, do you want to hang out sometime? Give me your number. She gave me her number, and we ended up having sex the following day, and we ended up dating for the next 4 months. Rocked my entire perception of everything I had ever learned before. All of a sudden, it wasn't about having a great car or having money in the bank. It was more about the character that I'm presenting to a woman, and it was more about the subcommunication and body language rather than a pickup line. After this happened, I basically just voraciously began consuming through every self-help book that I could get my hands on. Over the course of the last 10 years, I've read through over 2,500 self-help books. And I have rigorously taken notes and done extensive studies, and I've gone out into all different branches of self-help, self-improvement, health and fitness, strength training, life coaching, financial planning, prosperity, abundance, law of attraction, and when you break it all down in the self-help community, or in the self-help lexicon, everything really boils down into 3 specific topics, and those are health, wealth, and relationships. And if you can master all of these 3 areas, you will master your life. I ended up mastering the relationship aspect, and I went on to become the #1 dating coach in Las Vegas. I ended up going on a 22-city tour around the country, helping single men and women with dating and relationship advice. I ended up having sex with over 200 different girls in Las Vegas. I ended up on the cover of 7 magazine, City Life, PUA magazine. I'm now ranked on PUAlingo.com, the #1 pickup artist site in the world, ranked with the top 100 seducers in the world. I've gone on to become the author of over 50 different books, CDs, DVDs, and other publications on dating and relationships. And it continues to evolve. Later, I ended up moving into the health and fitness aspect. I was overweight when I was doing all this. I was 225 pounds. And I ended up learning some interesting techniques on weight loss that aren't necessarily spoken about to the general public. Things like intermittent fasting, things like afterburn, diet, nutrition, supplements. I learned a lot of interesting things that I talk about in the book. And I ended up, in about 4 months' time, losing about 70 pounds. I was down to about 160 pounds. I had rock solid 6-pack abs, and had quickly become to achieve the best shape of my life. You see me now, 5 years later. This was in 2012. I put some of that weight back on. Some people have asked, why do you have a self-help book when you're overweight and you're talking about weight loss? Well, let's kick the logistics here of reality. I got to sit down at a desk for 15 hours and type this fucking book. So I'm gonna put on a couple pounds, but now the book is out, and here I am, back out lifting, jogging, and using the techniques that I talk about in the book to lose that weight again. It's no problem. The next major topic is wealth in the self-help community. After I had traveled the country and I began speaking to a lot of different coaching clients who were now paying me upwards of $2,000 and $3,000 a day to work with me for 8 hours a day, where I would take them out and put microphones, hidden covert listening devices like lapel mics, two-way radios, and I would actually take these guys out to the bars and nightclubs where I would help single guys pick up girls. I was actually telling them what to say, how to stand when they say it. I would coach them on their vocal tonality. I quickly became labeled as the most aggressive dating coach in the pickup game, in the seduction community, for the simple fact that sometimes you have to get in a motherfucker's face and tell them what they need to hear. I'm not here to be a cheerleader. I'm not here to be a person's friend and say, go on, be confident, go get the girl. When I'm with a dating coaching client, I will assess the way that they interact with a girl, and then I come back and I give them feedback. What they did good, what they need to work on, and then I'm going to tell them exactly what they need to do. Not necessarily go be confident, talk to her, but say this, do this, stand like this, do this, and you'll get the girl. Do this, 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 and this, and you'll get her number. Do this, 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 and this, you'll get her on a date. On the date, you're going to do this, 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 and you're going to get her in bed. Do this, 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 and you'll get a girlfriend. Follow the step-by-step process that I created, and you'll get what you want. Okay? Now with wealth, I ended up in a small community with some interesting people and part of a secret society. And most of these people I'm not legally allowed to name for obvious reasons, and I talk about it on some other vlogs. In the book, I do give credit on the techniques where I can give credit. Some people don't want to be mentioned. Anyway, in this secret society that I was part of, I ended up learning about an interesting technique to create unlimited levels of wealth. And as much as people want to argue and say, how is that possible? If you look at the top earners, the top 1%, they are all using one specific technique that is right in everyone's face and they can't see it. And I talk about it in the book, and this is not some kind of conspiracy or anything like that. It's if you pay attention to it, you can see the patterns. This is why 1% of the population control 96% of all the wealth that is in circulation. It's not an accident, it's by design. And here it is. At the end of the day, most people, just out of social programming, are going to have the preconceived notion that in order to acquire more money, that they have to work more hours, or they have to get a second, third, fourth job, etc. This is called selling time for money. And at the end of the day, there are three, count them, three distinct ways of earning money. I'm not talking about begging, borrowing, or stealing. One is you can sell your time for money. You can get a job and you can physically be paid by the hour. But there's a salary cap on that, isn't there? If you work 40 hours a week at $10 an hour and you make $400, well, that's as much as you can make unless you get a second job. If you get a second job and now you're working 80 hours a week at both jobs, $10 an hour, then you can make $800 a week. But we still have a salary cap. But most people want more money and more free time, not selling more time. And make sense? The second way that a person can earn money is called gambling. I live in Las Vegas, I see it all the time. We could also put investing money in this category, but essentially it's the same thing. You're taking money that you have, or borrowed money, and you're putting it up in an investment or a gamble, put it all on black. Put that 1,000 on black. Or let's take that 1,000 and let's invest it in Exxon. Let's invest it in Microsoft. Let's invest it in the penny stocks, the marijuana stocks. In the hopes, all in the hopes that you might make money back. But there's no guarantee, is there? It's a gamble. Most people, most of the population, over 90%, sell their time for money. And that's why they are all broke. These are the slaves. These are the drones of society. There's a few people that have amassed a little bit of wealth and now they're moving up and they're trying that second step. They're gambling or they're investing. There is a third option that all of the wealthy people in the world use. It is called multiple sources of income. Some people describe this same technique as multiple streams of income. Some other people call this diversity. Some other people call it diversification or diversive income. There's a lot of different ways. It's all the same thing. It is when you are collecting or earning money from products that are already done to the point where you can just be sitting on a beach, relaxing in a hammock, drinking frozen tiki drinks out of a pineapple, and money is just coming in. For example, any musician or band that you see, Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, Axl Rose, all of the Snoop Dogg's and Dr. Dre's, and any of the famous musicians, rappers, rock stars, whatever you want to call them, they're all using this technique. They don't just sell their music. If you go to their concert, they're selling concert tickets. They're selling merchandise, hats. Nike uses this. Sweatshirt, hat, shorts, shoes. Multiple sources of income. Dr. Dre has his album, The Chronic. He also has some headphones. Meanwhile, he's done making the headphones. He's done making the album, The Chronic. He's just sitting back and collecting the money. Kind of like what you've seen me do. This video that you're watching right now is one of my multiple sources of income. How is that possible? Because I'm a YouTube partner and I get paid for the ads when people click on them. The book 10 Steps to Success is one of my multiple sources of income. The accompaniment book that I'm talking about right now, Unlimited Wealth, Understanding Multiple Sources of Income, which is also available on Barnes & Noble, is another one of my multiple sources of income. My book, Soap Shoes, Secret Tips and Tricks, which is 3 books in one. It is Soap Shoes, Secret Tips and Tricks. It is the Soap Shoes, the new Soap Shoes Trictionary version 2.0, and it is my autobiography, Pro Soaper. In fact, that's actually 6 in one because they're not just paperback books, they're also Kindle ebooks. 1 book, 6 products. Can keep going bigger. Can make it hardcover. I can make my own t-shirts. I have albums on iTunes and Amazon in CD format and also MP3 download. Every song that I make, you can order it as a single, as a download, MP3, or you can get it on CD. My hit song, Poppin' Into Motorola's, it was just seen in front of 3 million people on H3H3 Productions. It is multiple sources of my income. You can listen to it on YouTube, watch the music video. You can watch the music video with the subtitles. That's another way to make money. You can buy the album as a download. That's the song, the instrumental, and the a cappella. You can get that for $9 or $2.97 on iTunes for the MP3 download, or you can buy the CD for $9.98 on Amazon. Multiple sources of income. It's the key. And I talk about it in 10 Steps to Success. I also have another product that I just came out with. It is called Unlimited Wealth, Understanding Multiple Sources of Income. And that's another book that I wrote that's on Amazon that I use. So anyway, coming back to 10 Steps to Success, after learning all of this information and completely changing my life, ending up accomplishing all of my dreams, I finally ended up with the girl of my dreams. And you guys have seen her on my YouTube, who I was with for 2 years. I ended up living that dream that I initially set out for in Las Vegas when I first got here, which again was simply enough to get my life back together, get a girlfriend, and live a normal life. It was interesting. At one point, I was ending up making so much money. I had a luxury condo with 2 pools, jacuzzi, 2-car garage, fireplace, Noritake platinum trim china dishes, electronic motion sensing soap dispensers, jacuzzi bath, TVs in the bathroom, wall mounted 50-inch plasma screens, full Sony 5.1 surround sound, in the living room, in the bedroom. Ended up with a Mercedes, a Yukon, just living it. I used all of these techniques and I got success. I got all of the things that I wanted. Now, before we get back into the book, what is success? What is success when you really define it? Well, to me, success is not money. Success is not, but it can be. For some people, success is money. For me, it's not money. Success, by definition, is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What that means, if I was to define you, if you are or aren't a successful person, is if I asked you, what's your goal in life? You might tell me a goal. You might say, it's to get a new car. Fine, what are you doing about that car? You say, oh, I don't know, nothing. Then you have not achieved success. If you'd say, well, I just got a new job and I'm saving this amount of money, and in about this much time, I'll be able to buy that car. If you give me an answer like that, then I'm going to consider you a successful person. It doesn't matter if you actually ever get the car. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It means you're moving towards the goal. You don't actually have to get to the goal, as long as you're moving towards it. Because eventually, even if you get that goal, that car is not going to last forever. Could be like mine. The timing belt went out. I had to give it back. Or you might drive it for 5 years and then, you know what? It's getting kind of old. It's time for a new car. It's time for a new dream. Maybe your dream is to own a house. Fine. Maybe your dream is to make it huge in business like Donald Trump. I see the Trump Tower right there. Maybe you want a building with your name on it. Maybe that's what success is for you. Good. Not everybody wants super colossal levels of success like that. Some people are perfectly happy. You know, some people have a dream to just live in the forest of Canada where it's nice and quiet and they can relax with their wife and kids by the fire, tending their herb garden, and that's success to them. That's fine. Whatever your idea of what you want is perfectly okay. My job as a success coach is to help you get there in the easiest, fastest way possible. Anyway, that's what success is to me. It is defining your goal and then moving towards it. Now, anyway, back to the book. I have bragging rights to all this material because none of it's mine. I didn't invent these techniques. What 10 steps to success is the after let's just say after reading 2,500 different self-help books and boiling them all down into the basic essence of what I learned of all of this knowledge over the last 10 years, what I've done is taken the most important things that I've learned and then I've combined them and broken them all down into 10 easy steps for the average man. To pick up this book, read through it, takes about 10 or 11 hours to read. So you could be through this book in about 2 weeks, and you will basically have amassed all of the knowledge, not all of the knowledge, but a lot of the knowledge that I've learned that took me 10 years to learn to get to where I'm at now. So, for example, one of the steps, the 6th step, is to basically strive for and achieve the pinnacle level of your personal health and wellness. Get to what that, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this to you without reciting the text of the book. Essentially, what it's talking about in the 6th step is to get to the pinnacle of your personal health and wellness. Again, you have to read it. It's I can't verbalize this without giving you the whole fucking seminar, and that could take that's like a week-long seminar that I do discussing this whole fucking book. But for example, when I talk about reaching the pinnacle level of health and wellness for you, I'm not saying like a lot of these health and fitness books that say go to the gym and do, 3 reps of 50 push-ups and then rest in between. I'm not giving you a workout plan. I'm giving you a formula. I'll specifically go through and talk about dozens of different things that you can do to increase your overall health and wellness. Things like using a inversion table to hang upside down. Things like doing a cellular exercise such as jumping on a trampoline. I'll talk about things such as buying an air filter for your house to eliminate things like dust mites and bacteria in the air so that you can breathe clean. Not an air conditioner, an air purifier. I talk about things such as cryotherapy. I talk about things such as halotherapy, salt rooms and things. I talk about stop drying your clothes in a dryer where they're collecting positive ions. hang them out to dry. I talk about things such as electromagnetic chaos eliminators and things such as shielding that you can put on your phone to protect you from the electromagnetic frequencies, the EMFs that they give off. Anyway, I talk about dozens of things such as this, ways you can cleanse your body. I talk about certain cleanses, liver, gallbladder cleanse, heavy metal cleanse, candida cleanses. I talk about supplements, vitamins. I talk about organic food. I talk about why it's more valuable versus conventional food. I went to an organic farm and a conventional farm, and I discussed the research of what I found in the difference of the way the livestock is grown and the way that the food is processed or created versus made. The knowledge goes deep, okay? Talk about some real shit in that step. Another step we could just talk about real quick. The fifth step is called understand and apply the use of clean focus. Clean focus is one of the most important things that you can do as an entrepreneur to leverage creation. If I was to just ask you real quick, you see these lights out here, okay? They're all giving off a certain level of photonic energy that's going out into the universe at a spherical, omnidirectional pattern. It's going everywhere. What happens if we took that same photonic energy from any one of these lights and put it right down into a fucking laser beam? What can a laser beam do? It can cut through solid fucking steel. So if you apply that type of focus, power, and intent into whatever you're doing. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I drink a little bit of coffee, and then I go into what is called a focused block of time. I say for 1 hour, I'm going to apply the technique of clean focus that I describe in my book, 10 Steps to Success, into the project that I'm doing. I'm going to apply all of my power, focus, and intent into this one thing that I'm doing, for example, writing a book, for 1 hour. And I'm going to pour everything into it with clean focus. By doing that, I'm going to get more done in 1 hour than any one of these other fuckers will get done in 8 hours. And that's why I've been able to write over 50 different books in the last 5 years. Most people will take a lifetime and they can't even finish one. It's a secret. And now I'm giving you that secret. There's a lot more to that step, but you'll have to, again, read the book. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking for 2 hours on just that one topic. Another step I'll give you really quick. It's called listen to people who have what you want. This is step number 1. It seems pretty simple enough, but a lot of people just don't get it. There are a lot of freelance advice givers out there. They're probably a dime a dozen, maybe cheaper. The homeless guy on the corner, well, he can tell you how to make $1 million. It doesn't mean that his advice is actually real. It doesn't mean that his advice is actually useful in a practical, real-life application. But he can give you advice. There's a lot of self-help gurus out there that they want your money. And that's it. They don't care about your success. a lot of these guys, a lot of self-help gurus, they write books about how to improve your life and how to create success or find relationships and find love. And people talk about how to get the perfect body. They talk about how to make more money. But a lot of these people, for example, the guys who write books about how to make money, they've only made their money by selling books about how to make money. The advice that they're giving you isn't the real advice. It's not actually going to help you get rich. It's going to help them get rich by selling books. You want to listen to the people who have what you want, and you want to disregard everything else. If you want to be, I'm not a billionaire, and I'm not telling you how to make $1 billion. If you want to learn how to be a billionaire, then talk to Warren Buffett. Talk to Bill Gates. Talk to Steve Jobs. Okay? Listen to people who have what you want. For example, if you wanted to become a pro skateboarder, you might hang out with your skateboarding friends, and they could give you advice on how to become a pro skateboarder. They'd probably tell you things like, you just gotta fucking practice every day. You just gotta practice every day, dog. Just work hard. That sounds pretty good, right? Just practice every day, work hard. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not how you would become a pro skateboarder. You could listen to your parents. Of course, your parents will probably give you even worse advice. They'll probably say, oh, honey, you don't need to be skateboarding. What you need to do is go get a job. Well, getting a job isn't going to help you become a pro skateboarder because that's your goal, right? For example, when I'm a soaper, someone comes to me and says, I want to learn how to do this specific trick. I want to learn how to do a unity grind. I'm not going to tell them, like their friends will tell them, oh, you just got to practice it. You just got to do it. You just got to grab your balls and jump on the rail and do it. Fortunately, that's not how it works. But if you ask me, someone who knows how to do that trick, I'm not going to say, oh, just go do it, practice. I'm going to give them a specific series of things to do, such as begin by doing unity stalls so that your body can become accustomed to that shape. I'm then going to give them a plyometric workout. Plyometrics is basically where you see the guys in the gym and they're jumping up and down on the boxes. It's basically an explosive way to really work your muscles and learn how to jump higher so that you can get to the higher rails. Anyway, I'm going to give that person, without getting all fucking technical, I'm going to give them a specific step-by-step process to unity that rail or to become a pro soaper. Okay? You know, if I wanted to become a pro skateboarder myself, I wouldn't listen to my friends. I'd go listen to Tony Hawk. I'd go listen to Bam Margera. I would listen to the people who have what I want and disregard the rest. Okay? Especially by society. Society is going to tell you what they want for you, not what you want. It's not in your best interest. It's not in your best interest to listen to the police, to the fire department, to your mayor, to your pastor, to your priest, to your parents, to your teachers, to your mother, your father, your brothers, sisters, cousins. It's probably not in your best interest to listen to the things that they're telling you. Their advice is most likely not beneficial to what you want. You need to figure out what you want and listen to the people who have what you want. Then you need to take that advice and you need to begin to implement it into your lifestyle. You need to begin to mimic what they're doing. You need to internalize it. You need to assimilate it. And you need to make it become part of you. And you do this by what is called understanding the 4 stages of competence, from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. Excuse me, unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence, which that's another step in the book. I talk about understanding the training balance scale, giving you the specific percentage between thinking, feeling, and doing. How much you should actually be working physically, how much you should be working mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Talk about how you can create your own reality. That's another step. Talk about appearance is everything. That's another step. There's a lot of stuff in that book. I would definitely urge you to check it out. Like I said, this is the boiling down of the most popular 2,500 self-help books that I've read, and 10 years of my own experience living, breathing, and doing this. It's powerful shit, and it for I think it's like $11.99 or $14.99 for the paperback. It's $2.99 for the Kindle. I don't think that you could go wrong with $3 for that amount of knowledge. But it's dope. I would definitely urge you to check it out. Stay tuned to this channel. I am going to be putting up some more videos where I go into these steps much more thoroughly. I'll let you guys see some of the seminars that I've been doing with do like live group coaching sessions. I just haven't uploaded them yet. It takes time. I'm doing a lot of other projects. It's interesting. I'm almost probably in another year I'll even probably be doing a rewrite on the book, because in the time that I released that book last year in 2015 till now, I've put out several more products, more books. I have several new things coming out, and just I'm always going to be updating, you know, taking it to the next level. But definitely subscribe to this channel. If you're enjoying the content, there is going to be a lot more. And go visit Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble or wherever you like to purchase books. Grab yourself a copy and read it. Don't half-ass it. I do start with a contract. If you're not ready for this type of information, don't waste your time. I do have you, there is a contract at the beginning where I do have you sign your name that is agreeing to yourself that you are going to read it cover to cover. If you read it in any other way, if you skip around, it's going to water down the information and you're not going to understand it, because not only are there the 10 steps, you have to read them in that order. because I talk about one thing and then I move back to it in another section, and if you skip over it, you're going to miss the overarching principles that I'm putting in there. Just read it from beginning to end. Don't skip around. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Leave your comments in the box below. Subscribe to the channel. Grab yourself a copy of 10 Steps to Success. And I will see you guys on the next one. Be safe to your success. This is Ryan JAUNZEMIS. I'm out. And on a minor note, I know you would kind of think that I would be talking about this in the suit and the tie that I'm wearing on there. And the coolest part is that if I want to wear that, I could. But I don't have to do anything. See, I'm my own boss. I'm using the principles of multiple sources of income. So I can wear whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to do any of this. I don't have to. I already know all this stuff. I just like to share it with you guys because I'm passionate about helping people. That's part of my drive. Part of my goals of success is to help others. I can't change the whole world, but I can change a few people, and that will change their whole world. At least that's what I believe. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to my jog. It's been cool hanging out. We'll see you guys. Peace.